Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 343. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the JP8 Report. As I get situated here. All right, there we go. Feel a little bit more refreshed. As if y'all didn't watch the morning brief this morning, I was working on 3.5 hours of rest. I built my podcast early for the day, and I crashed for a little while, and I'm ready to go, I think. We'll see. All right, so welcome to the JP8 Report. If you're watching and you're not already a follower, please click the follow button on the screen, and then right next to it, click the like button. I got 119 followers. Let's make it 120. That'd be great. So if you're watching either live or watching on demand later on, follow the podcast. It's great. I've been doing this for a while. And then if you want, also, if you're live, and like there's right now, we got 6 people already online right now live. Go ahead and you can chat with me on the live chat. It's temporary, so at the end of the podcast it disappears. So if you think you type out something embarrassing, if anyone can even figure out what your name is anyway, it's going to disappear, and no one ever knows it was there unless you leave a hard comment. All right, but yeah, do that. You can share the podcast out. That would be nice to get the word out more. And if you would like and you want to leave a tip on the podcast, right beside the JPA report, you'll see a little button that says tip. It goes to the Rumble wallet. All right, so that is my advertisement to y'all at the beginning of the podcast. I might ask you to follow and like me later on, but that's the rest of it is right now. All right, so what do we got going on? America 250. All right, so America 250, there's only one thing that's going on before it all hits the fan. Colonel Henry Knox is back on the battlefield. He is oh man, I just had it. Hold on. Let me make sure I get the right city. Dorchester. Yeah, he's in Dorchester with some long-range artillery he got from Fort Ticonderoga, and they're blasting Boston. They only got a few cannon up there right now. They're putting more up over the next couple of days from what I've been reading. But artillery is being fired into Boston, and as we know, the 17th of March, the British finish evacuating out of Boston, and we take control, which is great news. All right, so the American Revolution moves forward, it's speeding up. And then, like the other thing I was talking about this morning, we just occupied Nassau, Bahamas, to retrieve a bunch of gunpowder and some weapons to bring them back to New England. All right, so that's your America 250 update. And then we go over here to talk about the Dalmatian Texas burger since it is lunchtime. All right. With that being said, these guys make smash burgers and hot dogs right here in Copper's Cove. All their ingredients are fresh and homemade. They are on the west side of Copper's Cove behind Bush's Chicken on the Business 190. All right, man, I'm at a loss of words right now, talking too fast. And then, oh yeah, they're open for lunch. For lunch, they're open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 2, and for dinner, they're open Tuesday through Saturday, 5:30 to 7, unless they sell out first. All right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. All right, let me get that ready right there. All right, so a lot went on last night, and some historic stuff happened in the Iran area of operations for Operation Epic Fury. Uh, so I keep getting mixed up. Okay, so Epic Fury is Iran, and then back right before I joined the army was Urgent Fury. Urgent Fury was the invasion of Grenada back in 1983. So if I mess up, I mess up. I'm sorry, but yeah, Epic Fury is the operation in Iran. The at the current, this is the actual battle plan, not the plan, but the area of operations for Epic Fury, where you see Iran and the whole region, matter of fact, because like they were, uh, Iran launched a missile toward Turkey this morning. There was more rocket fire into Saudi Arabia and Qatar. It just keeps going there, and everything's raining toward Israel also. So the updates I have right now for Iran, and then we'll get into the rest of the stuff with politics and stuff, uh, was a U.S. Sank an Iranian ship by a torpedo. That's right, a U.S. ship, a U.S. submarine sunk an Iranian ship by torpedo for the first time since World War II. All right, give me an American flag on that one, because that was awesome. And then, like I said, an Iranian missile was fired toward Turkey. Israel sending troops into southern Lebanon because Hezbollah is attacking Israel from the north now, I guess. And at the same time, the senior Iranian Quds Force commander, Brigadier General, uh, Israel took care of his butt. He's gone now, but he was directing Hezbollah to take the side of Iran and launch attacks in Israel. So Israel sent their IDF reserve soldiers into southern Lebanon to cease the attacking onto Israeli soil. Now, overnight, there was another historic thing that happened over the skies of Tehran. An Israeli F-35 fighter jet, one of our newest fighters in the inventory, got into a dogfight with an Iranian Yak-130 over the skies of Tehran in a dogfight, and he got shot down. It marks the first time the F-35 has shot down any aircraft in battle. So that Israeli pilot's going to go back and have, I guess, painted a Yak-130 on the side of its aircraft, or an Iranian flag. I forget how they do that. And then I think it's a flag of the enemy. And then the Sec Ward this morning, Pete Hegseth said that we pretty much have air superiority over Iran, that we can fly day and night and not be impeded by harassing fire. There might be something out there every now and then, but we're flying farther and deeper inside of Iran without fear. All right. And to date, they've already struck over 2,000 different targets inside of Iran. They're negating their ability to be able to fire, to going after the missile and the rocket and the drone launchers. And the more they get them out, the less fire that Israel receives and all of our bases receive itself. Today, the Senate, for some strange reason, is going to vote on a war powers act against the president. it's going to fail. And if it did fail, it's going to fail in the House of Representatives. And if it passed in the House of Representatives, um, it'll be by 1 or 2 votes, and it's going to go to the president. You know what the president's going to do? He's going to do the big veto on it, and it's gone. So he has 60 days to conduct the operations to protect the United States, flat out. He's done his reports. He's briefed Congress, classified and unclassified. Uh, he's doing what he's supposed to do. So, I mean, they can cut off funds, but still, it's got to get past the president unless it's overwhelming, over past a 2/3 majority to get it passed, make it veto proof. The president's going to do what he needs to do to protect the people in the United States, right? All right, so my hat's off to President Trump. Let's do this. Let's get it over with. I am so tired. My whole military career, I spent in the Army from 1986 to 2012. We always had to worry about what Iran was going to do. So it's done. It's going to be over with. Hopefully, everything is complete, and we'll never have to worry about the Iranian scourge ever again. Right? You know, when I was a private in the Army, back when they had these big blocky things called computers, right? Nothing like what I have right here. Uh, I forgot what the name of the video game was, but it's called Gulf Strike. That was it. I think it was Gulf Strike. We had it on 5 1/4 floppies. I think it was. Yeah, big square disc. Nothing like a 3.5 inch floppy or a USB drive, but it was all about attacking Iran and trying to win, and that was hard. But that was 35 years ago. Man, I can't believe that. But that was a long time ago. Okay, so with all that done, one of the first things that came out was that they identified the casualties of the first 4 out of 6 conservative of the fourth of 6 casualties that came from Kuwait at the port that got hit by a drone, an Iranian drone. So these are the officer and NCOs that happened. I'll let y'all look at that. I'm going to read something about it. I'm just going to leave it on there as I read, okay? The Department of War on Monday identified 4 of the 6 U.S. Army Reserve soldiers killed in a March 1st drone attack in Kuwait while supporting Operation Epic Fury. As officials said, the incident remains under investigation. The soldiers were killed at the port of Shuwei during what officials described as an unmanned aircraft system attack. All were assigned to the 103rd Sustainment Command in Des Moines, Iowa, which provides logistical and operational support to U.S. forces overseas. The fallen service members were identified as Captain Cody Cork. He's in the upper left-hand corner of Lakeland. He was a prior enlisted and went to OCS and got commissioned. All right. Captain Cody Cork, 35, of Lakeland, Florida. Sergeant First Class Nicole Moore, 39, of White Bear Lake, Minnesota. She's in the bottom left. Sergeant First Class Noah Tygens, 42, of Bellevue, Nebraska. He's in the upper right of the screen. And Sergeant DeClan Cody, 20 years old, of Des Moines, Iowa. Matter of fact, I heard on the TV this morning that he had, before he was killed in the drone attack, he had actually just finished speaking to his brother like 20 minutes prior. Okay. 2 additional soldiers killed in the attack have yet to be publicly identified. I will let y'all know who they are, right? Lieutenant General Robert Harter, he's the chief of the Army Reserve, said the loss is deeply felt across the force. we honor our fallen heroes who served fearlessly and selflessly in defense of our nation. Their sacrifice and their sacrifices of their families never will be forgotten. Officials said the soldiers were supporting operations in the region when the drone strike occurred. Let's see. So that said, I'm going to keep a hold of this. Go back to y'all. I'm going to put this down here so I don't lose it. It's good to have reference on that. Keep their families in your prayers, all right? So where do I go next on here? I have no more graphics right now. Okay, so I'm good on that. All right. So we talked about that. I have an opinion piece about the war. It's written by Van Hip. Van Hip, I believe he was the first former enlisted soldier to be the Secretary of the Army, if I remember right. Okay, so beyond Iran deal, why Trump's refusal to kick the can just saved generations. The national security experts of the deep state called him unqualified. When he sought the presidency in 2016, they said he was reckless. Some 50 former GOP national security officials said he would put at risk our country's national security. And even one former Secretary of Defense called him cavalier about the use of nuclear weapons. Turns out they really didn't know much about Donald Trump. They didn't understand that he viewed keeping the American people safe as his top responsibility as commander-in-chief. They didn't grasp his commitment to ensure that the world's number one sponsor of terrorism, a radical Islamist regime that vowed death to America, never acquired a nuclear weapon. A free world has long been concerned about Iran's nuclear program and it's their nuclear ambitions when combined with the ever-increasing range of its ballistic missile capability that poses the greatest threat over the years. Steps have been undertaken to try and delay or slow down Iran's nuclear efforts. The Stuttgart cyber attack in 2010 destroyed many spinning centrifuges at Iran's Natanz facility. Experts believe this set Iran's nuclear program back approximately 2 years. Regardless of those efforts, Iran would always reconstitute and expand its nuclear program, thumbing its nose at the IAEA, which is the International Atomic Energy Agency, along the way. In 2015, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or the Iran deal, was negotiated with the U.S. government in support of a vast majority of national security experts who opposed Trump's candidacy in 2016. During the 2016 presidential campaign, then candidate Trump called it a horrible, one-sided deal because it did not address Iran's ballistic missile program and that it would allow Iran's nuclear efforts to continue as restrictions are phased out. Fortunately, in 2018, President Trump determined that Iran would never have a nuclear weapon and formally withdrew the U.S. from the Iran deal. To me, another non-starter for the Iran deal was that Americans were not permitted on the IAEA inspection teams, as President Obama's national security advisor, the communistic, my term, Susan Rice, said at the time, no Americans will be part of the IAEA. This was ludicrous, and I agree with that too. The United States is the largest donor to the IAEA. American taxpayers provide over 25% of the IAEA's budget. There should be an American on each IAEA inspection team. Absolutely, Mr. Yep, you're absolutely on target. Iran has also exported its nuclear and ballistic missile know-how. It's been the chief enabler of North Korea's nuclear and ballistic missile programs using open source intelligence. It's OSINT. I first revealed to Fox News in 2012 that Iranian experts were at the North Korean missile launch. I further revealed that Iran and North Korea were both using the same miniaturized nuclear warhead design that can be traced back to the infamous Pakistani uh, scientist Khan. On September, his name is AQ Khan, if you didn't know. On September 1st, 2012, wow, that was the exact first day that I retired from the Army. On September 1st, 2012, in Tehran, uh, North Korea signed an agreement which Iran focused on scientific and technological cooperation. During the visit, the North Korean delegation to Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, announced that both countries must reach goals despite pressure and sanctions from others. Japan's Kyodo News Agency reported that after the agreement was signed, Iran stationed staff in North Korea to strengthen cooperation in missiles and nuclear development. Now, one thing before I continue, now you know why they took out the Ayatollah, because he is the chief decision maker for Iran, not the president, not the prime minister, the Ayatollah, right? Because Iran is a theocracy, it is an Islamic theocracy. Now back to this. We shouldn't be surprised. As the Federation of American Scientists pointed out in the late 1980s, Iran has been in bed with North Korea since the early 1980s and helped fund North Korea's missile development. When we look at Iran's Shahab missile, we see it looks a lot like the North Korean torpedoes, I think that's how you pronounce it, missile. Last year, June 22nd, 2025, President Trump made the right decision with Operation Midnight Hammer to strike Iran's uh, Iran's facilities at Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. And he made the right decision with Operation Epic Fury to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. A day after the IAEA reported suspicious activity at Iran's uranium enrichment sites, they were bombed last June. As Senator Lindsey Graham aptly put it, the mother of terrorism is sinking. The captain is dead. The largest state sponsor of terrorism, Iran, is close to collapsing. Earlier intelligence had also revealed that Iran was rebuilding its ballistic missile program last fall after receiving several shipments of sodium perchlorate from China. Sodium perchlorate is the main precursor of the propellant for Iran's ballistic missiles. The elites that opposed President Trump from the start helped structure the Iran deal, which would have eventually allowed Iran to resume its nuclear ambitions. Prior administrations gave Iran a lifeline by transferring enormous sums of cash, like pallet loads of it. Uh, President Trump, though, stuck with his gut that America, our children, and our grandchildren would not be safe with an Iran that possessed nuclear weapons combined with long-range ballistic missile launch capability. He made the right decision for this, and future generations of Americans in China and Russia are taking note that this president is different. Uh, the security of the American people is foremost with him, and he doesn't kick the can down the road. The entire world is seeing what American leadership looks like. And then Van Hipp is a former deputy assistant to the Secretary of the Army, like I was just talking about. All right, so That being said, they were actually looking to restart their nuclear program. As I said on Monday morning, that we had offered free for life nuclear fuel for their civilian nuclear energy program, and they denied. They said, no, we're not interested. All they want to do is enrich uranium, and they had enough where they can make 11 nuclear bombs. We could not wait. What the way some of these Democrats are acting, like Obama, what were we supposed to do? Let Iran develop a nuclear bomb, a warhead, attach it to an ICBM or a very long range ballistic missile, and launch that bad boy, and we have no way of taking it down. And that thing could land in Jerusalem, because they don't care about the Golden Mosque, right? The Grand Mosque, whatever they call it. Uh, all they want to do is kill Jews. Or what if they launched it toward Berlin or Rome or Paris or London? Or if they had enough of technology available, launch that thing toward New York City or even Washington, D.C. All it takes is one warhead, and the history of the world changes. And are we supposed to sit back and let them wait until they launch one before we react and take vengeance on it? Or should we take the initiative and end the threat so there's no more threat? I, I agree with President Trump. I mean, like I said, I've lost friends. I've seen people die from their EFPs, from their 107 Katyusha rockets, from their 81 millimeter mortars. I've seen it. I've seen it. I'm tired of it. I've witnessed it. I've been part of it. Um, I've seen what they did with um, hostages during the Beirut Civil War. Man, all over the place. I mean, Hezbollah, how they completely fund Hezbollah and supply them with tens of thousands of rockets. And it's not to defend Lebanon from the sea, it's to arbitrarily just fire in Israel. And they did the same thing with Hamas down in Gaza. They just keep supplying them to give rockets to the Houthis in Yemen. What does Yemen need with ballistic missiles? I mean, no one wants that land right there. It just, we need to end the threat. And Iran is at the middle of that threat, and this could solve a lot of problems for decades to come. All right? I got to give my own little opinion piece there, but that's cool. All right. So as we move along with the JP8 report, we're okay. So don't forget to click the follow on the podcast to follow the JP8 report, and also click that like button. All right, and then you can chat with me. All right. So I don't know if Rob is on here. If Rob is on the line, click the chat. Give me a Texas flag. Okay. All right. So. We're going to talk about a little bit of combination of politics and let's see, um, politics, and that's not politics. Okay, before I get into Texas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Tom Cotton last night in Arkansas won their nominations for the general election for re-election for governor and for U.S. senator. So if you live in Arkansas, vote for them come November. They're ready. All right. All right. So we'll talk about that last. Okay. So we'll start with Texas Congressional District 2. Y'all will have a new Republican congressman. Dan Crenshaw, the Rhino, got beat last night. A 4-term Congressman Dan Crenshaw from the 2nd Congressional District in Texas lost his Republican primary battle on Tuesday to Steve Toth, a state representative and businessman following years of turmoil between Crenshaw and MAGA faction of the Republican Party that questioned his loyalty to Trump. I even question it. The second congressional district primary that ended Tuesday with Toth beating out Crenshaw drew a sharp line with the Republican Party. Crenshaw was not formally endorsed by President Trump or Governor Greg Abbott because they didn't want him in office. Senator Ted Cruz endorsed Toth after he reportedly got in a tiff with Crenshaw at the airport over where the senator was working against the representative's re-election. After the Tuesday primary, Toth positioned himself as a more loyal conservative, comparing Crenshaw to a version of Liz Cheney, who, when in Congress, found herself frequently at odds with Trump before exiting public office. She even lost, okay? Toth, the Texas state representative since 2019, also owns a residential commercial pool management company. Maybe he can sell a pool to Dan Crenshaw. Received endorsements from the House Freedom Caucus, Turning Point USA, Senator Cruz, Texas Right to Light, and 21 Republican colleagues from the Texas state legislature and some high-profile local conservatives. Meanwhile, Crenshaw received endorsements from Representative Jim Jordan from the House Judiciary Committee, Anna Paulina Luna from Florida, the National Border Control Council, and the NRA, among others. Look, it's a primary. Republicans are going to, you got different Republicans that will support other Republicans. A lot of the times in the House of Representatives, they will support other congressmen because they don't want open seats. Okay, that's why. Crenshaw said, "My relationship with Trump is good." Crenshaw told the Houston Chronicle, which also endorsed the incumbent congressman, in advance to Tuesday's primary, "I worked very closely with this administration. I'm close with Pete Hegseth, John Ratcliffe, and Kash Patel because within all my hope is scope 2 on the House Intelligence Committee. We worked very closely together with the White House. You'd have not to pay attention to think that I'm not Trump enough." So I've seen both sides of him, but I've seen him moderate, and he is definitely not as conservative as we need in Congress, and we had opportunity to replace him with a conservative Republican. And that's what matters, okay? So as long as we just don't kick someone to the curb and not have a replacement for him, you plan for this. And Steve Toth is the real deal, and he will actually go forward and present the ideals and qualities and conservative ideas from Texas and take them to D.C. All right. So, my daughter just chatted. That's cool. All right. Still haven't heard from Rob yet. Man, okay. It's funny that because he texted me about an hour ago. It woke me up out of my nap. But that's all right. I went right back to sleep. All right. So the next is Wesley Hunt. I voted for Wesley Hunt. All right. Wesley Hunt lost in the U.S. Senate Texas race. He was third place out of 3 people. I think it was 4, matter of fact. Congressman Wesley Hunt, Texas, vowed to make a political comeback after losing the Republican primary for the Senate seat in Texas on Tuesday. Hunt came in third behind incumbent Texas Senator John Cornyn and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Hunt opened his speech by thanking God that he lives in a country where we, the people, which I'm wearing, where we, the people, where am I at? Choose leaders. We, the people of Texas, have spoken. Unfortunately, that person is not me, but that's okay because I always win because I'm a believer in Christ, Hunt said. And I will say this. This will not be the last time you see my name on a ballot. I can assure you. Hunt went on to say that his time in the House of Representatives and running for the Senate have taught him valuable lessons, and he is convinced the Republican Party needs young leadership. Hunt concluded his speech by vowing his undying support to whoever wins the Republican primary, but he did not make an endorsement between Cornyn and Paxton. So at the end of the day, I wish them the best of luck in this runoff, and whoever and then whoever chooses or whoever the people choose to go off into this general election, they will have my undying support on top of that because we have to keep Texas red. Uh, the winner of the Republican primary will face off against James Tallarico. That's another story. Who is trying to become the first Democrat in nearly 4 decades to win, and he won't because there was barely 1.2 million Democrats that that voted in the primary, and there was 1.5 million Republicans that voted in the primary. All right. So regardless of what people say, we got outvoted. No, we didn't get. We might have got outvoted in most of the what do you call it, the early vote, but we stood our ground. They ran out of gas and ammunition, and we just kept putting people in the polls, and we did what we had to do. All right. Um, so with that being said, okay, I'm going to wait just a second, and I'm going to tell you what I saw after John Cornyn and Ken Paxton won. Right, Ken Paxton. I saw both of them on TV last night, and Ken Paxton. He's very upward looking. He said he's going to do his best to win, and he's ready for this. Right. Then on the other side, to flip the coin to the other side, right? From the head to the tail, John Cornyn. Oh my goodness. That man, he is on a path to try to destroy the Republican Party in Texas. If you agree with that, if you heard that stuff last night, what he said, he is about to destroy publicly Ken Paxton because he said that man is completely unqualified to be a senator from the state of Texas. My first question is, what makes you the determination of who's qualified to run for the United States Senate? Because the last time I checked, you had to be a U.S. citizen, the resident of that state, and 30 years old. That's all. You can be male, female, it does not. 30 years old, a U.S. citizen, and resident of the state that you're running in, right? Uh, he just wants to burn the Republican Party down just so he can defeat Ken Paxton. I'm tired of these politics, and I'm the victim of it too. When I lost my last race, I ran for re-election. I had someone that lied through their teeth about me. They're doing the same thing. And you know what? Yeah, he had marital indiscretions with his wife. Okay, he had 1 or 2 affairs. It teaches you in the Bible you got to forgive, right? You remember, but you don't. But you got to forgive. We are. That's how you put it. I'm not electing a pastor. I'm electing a senator because I can pretty much guarantee you that uh, that John Cornyn has a skeleton somewhere. It's just buried deep. And his red flag laws he helped get passed with Biden. The fact is, a lot of people don't remember, is during the last Texas uh, convention that we had, he got booed for minutes by the Texans that were in our convention down in Houston, and it kept up. And they cut the feed on a lot of TV stations because they didn't want people to hear that John Cornyn got booed. He is in league with the left. He doesn't care, but he just uses President Trump because he's a sitting U.S. senator, and we're trying not to lose seats, which we're not. I feel that Ken Paxton will be 10 times better than John Cornyn, and at the same time not burn down our Republican Party here. The goal is here is to elect Republicans, not make it easier for Democrats to defeat Republicans. And some of these people do not remember that fact, and they need to be taught a sore lesson where burning down the barn doesn't get you nowhere but charred wood. All right. Uh, and then Tallarico. All right. Tallarico, he claims himself as a seminarian, a pastor. He says he's a pastor. He had an affair on his wife, really, and the guy is pro choice, right? He's very socialistic in his beliefs. They say he's a moderate Democrat. There ain't no moderate about this man, right? He's pro LBGT. He's anti-school choice. He is a man. You just keep it going, and he actually beat Jasmine Crockett last night by 7%. I think it was about 7%. And Jasmine Crockett, she's out of office now. In January, she exit the Congress because she didn't run for re-election and she lost her bid for the Senate. She blamed the GOP in Dallas County for her losing. She said that the GOP purposely rigged her campaign where she couldn't win in Dallas County. It's like the Republicans in Dallas County, where we had our own issues, right? Because we had to vote to get people elected, that we were crossing over to vote in the Democrat primary. Are you out of your mind? Why would you? We're trying to close our primaries. Why would we go over and vote in the Democrat primary? And at the same time, does she realize the primary for the U.S. Senate is El Paso, the Port Arthur, the Texarkana, and all the way up to Amarillo and back around the Midland to El Paso, and Austin in the middle? There is no way possible that Dallas Republicans rigged that primary where she couldn't win. She lost it on her own. Uh, I kind of wish she would have won the primary because Tellerico's easy to beat, but Jasmine Crockett would have been a whole lot easier to beat. But you got to play the cards that are dealt to you. He's going down, and hopefully she moves back to St. Louis, Missouri, and we never have to entertain her fake accent or fake eyelashes and her hair extensions ever again, right? So on a good news front, so we'll go in just a minute. What are we looking at? 12:42. We may go overtime today. I just read that one. Yep. I got to put that one over here. So in CD 21, which is Congressional District 21, which is Southwest Austin, Chip Roy is the congressman there right now. Chip Roy is not running for re-election in Congress because he's running for the Texas Attorney General because Ken Paxton is not running for re-election as Texas Attorney General because he wants to be a U.S. Senator. So backtrack to CD 21. In CD 21, you had a list of, I think, of 11 candidates that were running to be the new congressman. And we had this one young man. He destined to be a Texan. He played for the Texas Rangers in baseball. He played for the New York Yankees, and he retired from playing baseball from up there. And then COVID, I think it was in COVID, he saw the light and got out of there and moved to Texas, right? Mark Teixeira. Last night, people were discounting his candidacy to be a congressman because he's not even from Texas. He moved down there faster than he could, right? Well, last night, he beat 11 candidates to finish over 50% to get the nomination, and he will win uh, uh, for November. Former baseball league star Mark Teixeira has clinched the Republican primary to succeed Congressman Chip Roy in Southwest Austin. Okay, Teixeira secured more than 61% of the vote in a 12-candidate primary field. 11 plus him. 61%. Teixeira announced his candidacy for the Lone Star 21st Congressional District in August, which I did report it on the JP8 report. His seat is currently held by Roy, who is running to be the Texas AG. The announcement of Teixeira's campaign came days after Republican state lawmakers approved the redistricting map aimed at strengthening the GOP's position in 2026. President Donald Trump endorsed Teixeira in the race, and Teixeira pledged to work with the president to secure the border and end what he described as radical woke indoctrination. The Club for Growth PAC, which along with affiliated super PACs, contributed more than $250,000 to his candidacy, applauded his primary victory. Club for Growth PAC President David McIntosh said the group was proud to have supported Teixeira in the race. That is really good. So he began his Major League Baseball career with the Texas Rangers after being selected 5th overall in the 2001 Major League Baseball draft. His 14-season career included 3 All-Star selections, 5 Golden Gloves, 3 Silver Slug Awards, and a World Series title with the New York Yankees. We can forgive that. In 2009, Teixeira and his family moved back to Texas in 2021 after he retired from baseball, and now he's going to be a congressman in Texas. Isn't that great? So the 21st Congressional District is heavily Republican, and it's an area west of Austin all the way to San Antonio. And on the Democrat side, he's going to run against Kristen Hook. Yeah, she's going to get beat anyway. Congratulations, Mark. I wish I could vote for you, but I got Congressional District 31 with the 84-year-old Republican. All right. All right. So the next one this will be a quick one. So I've been reporting over the last several days about this fake Republican in the 7th Congressional District. I believe that's the Galveston, Houston area, right? Okay, so Alexander Calais, his family is a lifelong Democrat. They've given hundreds of thousands of dollars, like to Beto and Harris and all kinds of liberal causes and super PACs to help get Democrats elected in the state of Texas. Well, there's already an incumbent Democrat in that congressional seat. And all of a sudden, this guy, Khalil, decides he's a Republican, never voted in a Republican primary in his entire life, ever. And he said, I'm a Republican. And his dad is a Democrat supporter, monetary-wise. So he was a disruptor trying to disrupt the Republican primary so that the Democrat would have a chance at winning re-election because of the restructuring, right? Well, his plans failed. Last night, Mr. Kalel 7th Congressional District. Man, I didn't even put that one in there. Okay, so hold on just a second. I reported that one this morning. 7th Congressional District, he didn't even show. Alexander Hale won with 45.7, and he's going to be in a runoff with Cohen at 27.54%. Khalil came in about 14 or 13% overall in that primary. He's done. He's gone. Hopefully we never hear from him again. If he is a Republican, let him start being an R1, an R2, an R3, and R4. That's every 2 years during the primary. Every time you vote in the primary, you get a number. So if he's a lifelong Republican, we're going to see it. Right now, I don't trust him. I don't trust him as far as I can carry him and kick him out of the Republican Party. He needs to show that he's the real deal. He's gone. Don't even want to mention his name. I hope Mr. Hale, Alexander Hale, the other Alexander, hope he wins the primary on May 26th. All right. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about Texas. All right. So we had our primary last night. All right. So I'm not talking about any Democrats in this one. So Governor Abbott won the Republican primary with 82-11. Dan Patrick won the Lieutenant Governor primary 85-8. The Attorney General for Texas, there's going to be a runoff between MAGA Mays Middleton and Chip Roy, 40-31%. Okay, so there's a runoff there. The comptroller for the state of Texas, which is our treasurer, Don Huffines won 57-23. Here's another runoff. The runoff for Railroad Commission. Jim Wright got 32%. Bo French, who I voted for and will vote for again, got 31%. So that's one of them. The Texas Agricultural Commissioner, Nate Sheets won that 52-48. My really good friend, Sid Miller, he lost. That's his re-election bid. So he's not going to be the agricultural commissioner after January. So Nate Sheets, let's get behind Nate Sheets and get him into office, right? Next, U.S. Senator John Cornyn got 43%, and Ken Paxton got 40%. All right. We have 38 congressional districts in Texas. I'm only going to highlight a few of them, right? Dan Crenshaw lost the Steve Toth 57-43. Briscoe Kane, he's a state senator. He is in a runoff with Mr. Mueller, 37, and then Kane got 31%. Admiral Ronnie Jackson, he's been a White House medical office for several presidents. He's running for re-election. He won his primary 90%-10. Mark Texera, he won 61-10. Tony Gonzalez, he's a Congressional District 23. He's very tainted. There are pressures. They're trying to get him out of Congress. We can't afford to kick anyone out of Congress right now because we are like a zero balancing congressman, right? But he's under 50% on his primary to Mr. Herrera. So Gonzalez got 43. Mr. Herrera, who should be the next congressman from CD 23, he got a 42. In my congressional district, CD 31, John Carter got 58%. So there's no runoff at CD 31. And that's because we had like 9 candidates in there and they all split the vote. We have to learn they got lucky in Mark Texera's race, but in our race, John Carter's a nice old guy. He is, right? But we never see him in our congressional district. He doesn't He was in Copper's. No, he wasn't even in Copper's Cove. He was at Central Texas College like 2 weeks ago when the VA, without any help from him, put a new VA outpatient clinic in Copper's Cove. It's going to bring 500 jobs. He didn't do nothing for that, but he got reelected, right? And that's because the ShamWow guy, the guy that makes the chamois cloth and stuff, decided he wanted to run for Congress. We've never seen him. We see all of his advertisements right now. I got a ShamWow towel in the mail the other day and said, go vote for him. And it said made in Germany. Really. The ShamWow thing said made in Germany. But he got 4% of the vote. And Valentina Gomez, some influencer that's from Colombia that lost a statewide race in Missouri for the Secretary of State, decided she wanted to move down to CD 31 and had a post office box with her address on it. She got 9.08% of the vote. 9.08%. And then the guy I voted for, Raymond Hampton, came in third with 8.92% of the vote. So that 12% could have been enough. Like if they all went to Raymond, if those two weren't running, could have forced the runoff easily. Or all the other candidates, they could have built up enough votes to push it below 50%, but they didn't. So John Carter is going to get reelected in November. He should. He's going to be running against, I'm not mentioning any more Democrats, but he'll win. And then the last congressional district is CD 34. CD 34 had several candidates in it. The number one and number two candidate had the same last name. You had Eric Flores and Mayra Flores. Miss Flores was the first Mexican-born female congressional representative in the history of the United States. She's been working for the last 2 years to build her candidacy back up so she could go back to Congress. But Eric Flores filed against her, and President Trump endorsed Eric Flores, and he ended up getting 56%, and she got 26% of the vote. It was a sound defeat. There's no runoff in that race. Eric Flores will be the next congressman from CD 34. All right. In Coryell County, a county judge, it ended up being Rob Irwin at 49%, and Roger Miller, the sitting county judge, came in at 45%. And then, so historically, the chances are if you are the incumbent and you come in second place for the runoff, you usually lose the runoff when the runoff happens. So Roger Miller, he's an endangered species. Rob Irwin, he's in the lead right now. And then Commissioner Race 2, Scott Weddle got 49%. He's the incumbent. And his challenger is Tully Meyer. He got 21%. And Commissioner Race number 4, Ray Ashby, he got 38%. And Justin Smith got 22%. The incumbent, Keith Taylor, got like 14% of the vote. So he got defeated. And he'll serve until January. And the winner of this race in May 26th, which is 83 days from now, will be the new commissioner from Precinct 4. JP8, Justin DePease 2, Price. Bill Price won with 81% of the vote against Joey Afaji. He got 19%. No runoff there. All right. And then, man, I've taken it almost to an hour, and I didn't even talk about that. I want to hold off on that one till tomorrow. The race The race of the evening last night. I've already talked about this in my morning show, my morning brief. I even made a short on it already. Me and my wife got invited to a watch party last night from our district clerk, Becky Moore. And she's just finishing her second term of